Hey everybody, DJ here. It's a Thursday. We are in week 3 of our Rome adventure. We are in season 4, server 1000, which is the only server I play anymore. I do stop by 872 to chat with people just for fun, but have since decided to focus here, and I just can't bear the thought of starting a new character. It's just I'm just too far along. So we're here. But anyway, I wanted to go through some of the differences of the Rome map, and compare it to Tokyo and Bali. And then we're far enough along to where I feel comfortable sharing, kind of what our plan was, which was kind of challenging at the beginning and very challenging from a political standpoint. But we'll go through the map first, okay? So you have your home map. You got zone 1, 2, and 3, right? Zone 1 is the outer ring. Zone 2 is the inner ring. Zone 3 is the middle. You go to Tokyo and you have 4 zones, right? Zone 1 is your starting point. Zone 2, you have Zone 2 on both sides of you, shared with another chamber that sometimes you battle and sometimes you don't. You have Zone 3, which is where the URs are located. That's an LM5. And then you have the middle, which is Zone 4. All the abroad adventures are structured that way. There's 4 zones instead of 3. And this one's no different. There are 2 exits coming off of our chamber, which we are purple in this case from the lower left. They flipped it, by the way. Purple used to be in the lower right. They mirrored it, horizontally. So now purple's on the left. Anyway, Tokyo, you build to landmarks just like on the home map. If anyone in your chamber captures that landmark, then everybody gets credit for it on first capture. They'll get the reward. Now, the group still only gets the finance for it. So depending on how that structure is set up in your chamber, would determine which group captures it. But there's a lot of debate on who gets what, like which group. Is it the group that hits first captures? Is it the group that hits last captures? Is it who does the most damage? So there's some debate on that. But best thing to do is to touch the landmark in Tokyo. Get your people closest if you want the opportunity to capture that landmark. All right, Bali is you do build to zone 2 and you keep building all the way to the middle, but the URs, which again are LM5, and the palace, which is the same as the tower, the burj, whatever, that is teleport only. You don't have to build there. So you have to teleport. You have to teleport in, and anybody can teleport to any UR and to the palace. And so it's just a giant slugfest in the end there. Furthermore, in Bali, you have to teleport into the zone in order to build in that zone. Whereas you do not have to do that in Tokyo. You can sit from behind the wall, behind a gate, and build. But Bali, you have to teleport into the zone in order to build there. Rome is kind of a hybrid of the two. So and what that means is that I do have to build towards the gates. I have to have access to a zone in order to capture a landmark. However, my clubs do not have to touch that landmark in order to capture it. I just need access to the zone. And so there's a lot of swapping going on. You can have, since you don't have to build, you could theoretically dominate an entire zone if you wanted to. You could, that goes for zones 2 and 3. The what they call the Colosseum here, which is the same as the tower, palace, burj, whatever. There, you just need access to zone 4. So it's kind of a slugfest, but there's some strategy involved. Where in our case, we made an alliance with the blue chamber, and red had an alliance with the gray chamber. Yellow was neutral, green also an alliance, but they had their hands full with the gray. So blue and purple, which is us, we did our best to lock out the red chamber, which we did, and we just thought it was safer going into zone 4, where, you know, the chamber with the top person, top player, you know, did not have access. And then we ended up just giving the tower, the Coliseum to Blue, in exchange for a future alliance in another map. So we'll see how that works out, but that's what we did. So now, a few other side quests in these maps. So Tokyo has, well, all 3 maps have the subway train station, and that works the same with those tickets. You earn points, and whoever gets the most points with those tickets, i.e. spends the most, gets an HQ skin and a bunch of photos at the end. So, but, you know, it can be very pricey. I would not spend, you know, $1,000 to $2,000 on an HQ skin and some photos, because you can get them a lot cheaper in a future season. The exact same ones. Now, what's different about Tokyo, Bali, and Rome? I can't remember if there's a side quest in Bali now, or an extra thing. Maybe they added it and I don't know about it. But in Tokyo, you have truck battles, and you also have an extra city where instead of earning gold, you can earn EXP from the buildings, and you use platinum to upgrade them in addition to gold. But the truck battle part is really fun. Which is kind of like a moving parking lot where you get prizes or rewards from hitting people. And then in Rome, what they have is this thing called decree coins, which you earn from capturing hotels. And I'm going to try and click on it. So you capture garden hotels, and the more you earn, the more decree coins you earn. The more hotels you capture, the more decree coins you earn. And then you can use them for these buffs right here. Now, these buffs have a 24-hour cooldown after they're used. So you want to be prudent when using them, because you can see some of them have gold earn, AP renewal, regeneration faster. One of them makes your bus bigger, a lot bigger, like by 2 million, I think. I guess it depends on the size of your bus. 10%. One says 10% more damage to landmarks. One gives your clubs more hit points so that they can't burn as fast, and one burns clubs faster. Now, these do not last, they don't last very long. So, you know, and again, they have a 24-hour cooldown, so be cautious when using them. These first two here, those, like, nobody cares about those really. Like, you can just use them anytime and just keep using them, especially if you have the coins. But, you know, definitely the ones that are for battle, you know, want to use effectively. So that is how Rome is different. This is the little side thing. So you see a lot more people capturing garden hotels than you would in previous ones, just to earn these little coins. But these buffs, outside of the bus buff and the landmark buff and maybe the burning buff, those are the 3 main ones that you would use. The rest of them are like, whatever. Okay, so strategy, I kind of mentioned it already, but we formed an alliance with Blue, and they were kind of hard to wrangle in at first because they didn't really trust us, but you know, we earned it. We formed an alliance with Green. They were a good one for us, so we go with the approach of pay it forward. So we gave that LM2 there to Green, and we gave the LM3 to Blue, and we also gave an LM7 to Blue, said that we support them, and we ended up getting this UR first, okay? So we got first capture. I know it says Green, it's because we swapped, but we got this one first. And some other things we did is we swapped LM6. So, you know, you could see we swapped gates, first of all, and then we swapped gates again going into zone 4. And then we were going to, you know, go backwards on the on these LM6s over here, but we decided with this one. And the reason we did is because, look what we did here. We shared a gate with Green initially, so we had access to Zone 3 West, okay? Blue did not. And then we also built this huge long line, which again, we had to borrow 2 gates. We had to borrow one from Blue and one from Yellow, who remained neutral, by the way. So we had access to Zone 3 East. So we had 360-degree access to Zone 3. Now we said, well, how do we get our alliances to also have access? Aha. So we built to, well, Blue also built all the way up here so they could come in and, you know, do some things. Red ended up getting this UR first because yellow did not want to battle with them being neutral. And red's, really, really powerful. But then we decided, since we both had access here, we said, hey, let's both get access here so that we could grab these gates anytime. And now both of us have access to Zone 3 East. Same thing in the West. We said, Blue, grab this LM6 and now build towards TG4. Then you will also have access. So now Blue has 360-degree access to Zone 3, right? And Green didn't get quite as far, but at least they have access to Zone 3 South and Zone 3 West. So when Gray came knocking on their door again, we just simply did a counterclockwise UR swap. We said, because we grabbed this one over here, we gave the south one to Blue, and Green was sitting here, but then somebody came knocking on their door, so we said, hey, let's just swap. UR swap. We all rotated counterclockwise, and now we have this one, Green has this one, and Blue has this one. So, point being, having access to a zone makes you a threat, right? Particularly with an alliance. Somebody's getting their ass kicked. You say, okay, well, hold on, I'll be there in a couple days, right? And then you can turn around and flip that the other way in a 2v1 or even a 3v1 scenario. Here in the middle, we purposely not blocked Gray from Zone 4, and we were trying to block Red. They're pretty powerful. But we warned Red, and we said, if you come in here, it's going to be 3v1 because Yellow's neutral, and we are all here. They came in anyway and gave it the old college try and lost, and now they are 100% blocked out of Zone 4. But back to the approach here. You cannot be lazy with construction, okay? In Bali, you can be lazy with construction. Tokyo, you certainly can't be lazy with construction. And here, you can't be lazy with construction either. So, you have to make deals to at least give you access to a zone and exchange something for that. And you have to, get access to as many zones as you can. And whether that's because you want to dominate that zone or you want to support one of your alliances, that part is, of course, up to you. But we are the type of group that and server that supports our alliances. And so when we saw Gray overpowering Green, we just swapped UR and came right in here within 24 hours and took out Gray. So having access to a zone is paramount to a successful campaign. And so, you could see here, we have access to Zone 3 East, but we have literally built, around the entire map. We don't go into Zone 2 unless we have to for, to help somebody. But, outside of that, we've pretty much built the entire map. You could see Yellow here, they just built hit a bunch of garden hotels, but they're not really, like a threat because they remain neutral. So that's the advice I give you. I would say make deals that give you access to zones. Don't be lazy with construction, and make sure to support your alliances. And then if you can, lock out your opponent, because if they have a gate, it's going to be a slugfest, like it is in Bali at the final battle. Tokyo, you have to be touching the tower in order to attack it. So best case scenario, if you're not touching the tower, is to support another chamber, but you won't get a reward for it at all. It's like 0 for it. So, people are usually pretty cautious about doing support when they don't have anything that they get out of it. Not us, by the way. We'll just go kill people for fun. But here in Rome and in Bali, you just teleport in. So you better have some alliances. Here you need access to the zone. So there is a little bit of strategy in play to where you can give yourself a huge advantage in the end. All right. Feel free to like and comment. Let me know if you want to see something else. And have a good one. Cheers.